you should know that by being a racing driver, you are under risks all the time. By being a racing driver means you are racing with other people. And if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver. Because we are competing to win. And the main motivation to all of us is to compete for a victory.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the world of RACEFACE. Welcome to another round of amazing action here at the RACEFACE.PRO PokerBet GT3 Championship. Round 4 at Paul Ricard. And we're in for a huge amount of fun out here in the French countryside. My name is Stephen Koenig, and this is the Pro Division. We will have Tristan Herbst, who will be going and live streaming our Pro-Am division. So if you want to catch all the amazing action out there, he has got it. But we're at Paul Ricard. It's off to a fantastic run, and some close championship runs are going to be had. Let's head down to Quali, though, because that's where all the action is heating up. So down on the track at the moment, Daniel Rowe leading out the charge, clawing his way to the top of the order for the hybrid racing. Bernard Barkhuizen in second place, 0.007 of a second behind. We saw this at Laguna Seca. Bernard Barkhuizen, though, last night, trying to carry the momentum through of the GT3 Sprint Series powered by RaceFace and PokerBet. He got the win by a narrow margin. Now he's looking to try and relive it once again. But Daniel Rowe looking to take that top spot right away from him. But Bernard Barkhuizen comes across the line. Duplessis in second place, though, getting that phenomenal run. Launches his way up in towards the top of the charts. Henry Mayer, after saying this wasn't his best circuit last night, he's managed to pick up the pace and put in a 152.7 as he came across the line. So some great stuff is going to be had. But we do have everyone in our virtual grandstands. Big shout out to you guys. A big welcome to you all. It's going to be a fantastic evening of racing. Ryan Barrington-Smith also up into third place. He's had a phenomenal run last night, trying to go and make a great run here this evening. Beggar Krobler in sixth. Gerry van Zyl had a little bit of a difficult run, went and got some phenomenal passing done last night. He's trying to make it all happen once again. Henry Mayer, though, top of the charts for the championship, is trying to make up some great points for the GT3 Championship here on a Thursday evening, powered by PokerBet and RaceFace.pro. But it's going to be a very difficult climb for them on the way through, because there is going to be a monumental fight coming up as teams are getting faster and faster on the way through. So definitely one to watch out for, as you see Fleming Bauer parked off in the distance. But while we're talking about it, PokerBet's actually got a chance for you to win 3 million rand, a share of 3 million rand if you correctly predict the final league standings for the SA and English leagues to stand a chance of the winning. So head over to PokerBet down in the description, be a part of all the action for tonight. But Jude Neville out in 11th, trying to make up some time. Jean Leroux, though, has had some hits or misses this season and trying to make it work. Duplessis up on his lap time, tries to come across the line. Fourth place is where it stands at the moment for him. unable to make his way through. Bernard Barkhuizen making his way out of the pits, and that looks to be Werner Schumann, the only Pandassi driver I know that's taken a Mustang because he loves it. Myers Musa in 7th, 8th place, Bago Krobler trying to make up that little bit of a climb as well to stand on top of the charts. Kerry Fontel along with Fleming Bauer trying his hand at moving up in 11th, so there is still lots of time to be had. Brandon Kruger currently coming across the line, puts himself into 7th place, right behind Paul Fenter. Utilise that toe, and he has made a monster climb. Paul Fenter, though, is going to try and make up some time. Andre Sorodio going to be coming around the corner. He is up 0.8 of a second. This could put him into the top 10. Can he make it across the line to get it working? Yes, he does. Snatching that 9th place. So some great lap times being put in. Ruben Heineke coming around the track, and also good to see. Ruben Heineke got a bit of Sarko put onto it. Nearly says Sparko. But Sarko written all over it, going in supporting one of the South African sim racing communities, Sarko. So they getting behind the Ruben Heineke, trying to say, come on, dude, you can do what you can. Dylan Hall hoping that he's going to make a bit of an impact here as Heineke moves up through the order, trying to really claw his way through. I know they have been working desperately on that Ferrari. Going for the race in the big Mercedes, 0.2 up on his last lap time, so he is properly trying to get a little bit more of a climb as well, hoping they can make a big impact here tonight. But still close up towards the front, though. Henry Mayer coming across the line, actually towing his teammates along this time around, trying to get a little bit more pace, but just wasn't able to improve on his time as much as he would like. He did a 1 minute 52.712. Not going to be able to get any quicker than that, one would think. But at the moment, he's still going to keep up the hard climb. Jaco Kutzer, the hero that everyone needs at this point. He's going to try and come across the line. 0.2 up on his lap time. And the team Tryhard actually going and assisting one another, with Hunty Myberg getting pushed across the line last night. It was great to see the great sportsmanship that came into play there. But let's see if he can get himself out of 17th position. 0.3 up. Yes, he gets himself into 11th as he comes across the line. Taking a look over to our VIP stands, we have got some monumental shout-outs from Sean Peterson, media, going and saying, how's it all? Going and shouting out from PokerBet VIP stands. Jason Farmer trying to get a little bit of momentum. He is currently 0.3 up. We saw Loureiro in the Mustang. Mac van der Merwe currently lying in 5th place, right on the back of what looks to be one of the competition. Just trying to see who that is he's trying to get past. And yeah, just managing to easily get around. There's one of our angry racing cars going and trying to keep it all together. So Mac van der Merwe lying in 32nd position, making up a serious amount of time at this moment to try and get himself a bit closer to the front. Anthony Gamble going and saying, hey, have a great race, everybody. A shout out from the grandstands there. Gotta say, well done. I definitely say, put the crown on. You definitely deserve that one for the shout out there. And going and supporting the Griffin boys. Now, if I remember correctly, there is a couple of drivers in the Griffin Sim Racing team that are going to be really looking to improve their times, working really, really hard. Lots of work behind the scenes on setup of how to just lower the drag and ensure that they can carry the momentum through. Yusuf Adams also going and saying good luck all, rooting for Jacobs. And that is for this driver, Kevin Jacobs of Kevin Bilstein. Got to give him a little bit of love. And Yusuf busy supporting this very BMW. So there we go. Great to see that there's a bit of support coming in. Anushka Burta going and saying, how's it? Also keeping an eye on the team. Husband Vietia Burta going and racing. Yeah, I just want to ask, that is in the Pro-Am division, Anushka. Marius Burtma going and saying, go Griffins. So lots of support for the Griffins as they take their spots at the table. Looking for the dealer to hand out the cards here at the PokerBet GT3 Championship and seeing who can maximize their points for that monster prize. The biggest prize in sim racing history in South Africa. 150,000 Rand in cash and PokerBet credits, which is just mind-boggling. If you think about this, 8 races, 8 weeks of racing on a Thursday night, you can walk with your share of 150,000 Rand on the cards. I mean, that is one way to kick off your party of the next 3 years. Or going and getting yourself something nice, getting the family something nice. That's the main one. Get something for the family first so you don't get in trouble that you never shared it. And just make sure you support your mates as well. You know, maybe going and getting them a DLC might be a bit helpful. For anyone in iRacing, that's about a year's worth of, well, content, and then you pretty much broke again. Anushka Murta saying Virtia is in pro. Yes, he is. I do apologize. Here is Virtia Murta. So thank you very much, Anushka. Is your hubby out on track, lying in 22nd position, trying to make his way through. But interesting enough, Bago Krobler, 0.3 up on everyone in that last sector, now trying to make his way through, may be able to dethrone Henry Mayer in the last minute of qualifying. Henry Mayer's going to have to really try and climb up. I don't think he's going to be able to do so. Bago Krobler trying to get some speed. Ryan Barrington-Smith puts himself into second place. Can Bago be able to dethrone Henry Mayer in the last 45 seconds of qualifying? He's 0.2 up. He's going to come across the line, and he just misses out. He gets ahead of Ryan Barrington-Smith. And now Bernard Barkhuizen going and having Daniel de Villiers in the slipstream of him. PWSR trying to push the Omnius Gaming. And oh man, that Lamborghini sent absolutely horribly wrong into the world of Oblivion. And a couple of the Pandassi cars just not able to carry the momentum through the corner into that long right-hander, going and missing out. So Henry Mayer going and calling it quits. Bernard Barkhuizen, 0.2 up on his last lap time. Can he make it through? Going to catch up to a little bit of traffic. He's going to have to try and weave his way past in the final stages. He's done so, 0.2 up. So is Killian Rayner. Daniel Rowe is 0.2 up. Christoph Peterson in the Honda is 0.1 up. So they're going to try and boot their way through. It's all or nothing at this point. Coming up towards the line, Bernard Barkhuizen, 0.2 up. Can he put himself in second place? He's only able to get it into third. Ryan Barrington-Smith, though, 0.1 of a second up, can retake that third place. He's got to really dig deep. Lost out a little bit of time, trying to carry it through into the brake markers, getting as late onto the anchors as possible, trying to throw the nose around of the Aston Martin. It was all or nothing for Logistical Nightmares Racing. Ryan Barrington-Smith, who's now down into 5th. Killian Rayner's got ahead of him. This is not ideal situations. Final corner, brute force all the way through, foot through the floor. Is it going to be enough to get him out of 5th? Comes across the line, not able to do so. Daniel Rowe, though, 0.1 up on his last lap time, 0.2 up. He's going for it, properly chasing it. Daniel Rowe in 9th position. Has an opportunity to get ahead of Christoph Peterson in the Honda. That little Honda has been an incredible mission to go and drive. Also, Duplessis in the Audi is currently right up towards top. Can Daniel Rowe join his teammates? And he comes across the line. 0.1. Just can't get it. 9th place. Oh, man, right at the last. Man, oh, man, this is going to be a very spicy start and going to be a very spicy run. So let's head over to a quick break and we'll be right back with the racing action. Welcome back, everybody, as we get ready to go right here at Paul Ricard for the Pro Division of the RACEFACE.PRO PokerBet GT3 Championship. So much to talk about, so much on the line, and it's going to be a wild ride all the way to the end. Sarko by Dylan going saying, hello, Griffin Sim Racing. Dylan, we've just went to actually showed one of your liveries out there, a whole bunch of Sarko for Mr. Heineken. Good to see it out there. So, let's take a look through our running order, shall we? So, as we down to the grid, let's see all the cars lining up. And if we just jump over to the heli cam, Tim in the heli going to be filming all the great action out there. 36 cars lining up on the grid for all or nothing at this point. It's going to be a monumental run right down to the line. Our drivers are going to be really digging their teeth into this one. Remember, scoring major points is necessary for the championship to see who can claw their way to victory, who's going to be able to take the top spot and walk away with all the chips in this championship. Because when you come across a line, oh boy, 150,000 Rand on the line. Anyone want to know how that is going to change one's life? Where people are going to see such an amazing time. Well, we're going to see it very, very soon. As this is round 4 of an 8-round championship. And it is going to be a proper run to the line. So Henry Mayer, who is leading the championship, will look to stay ahead. Bago Krobler in second place has always been that car that had luck and then ran out of luck. He's really trying to make up a bit of time here. Bernard Barkhuizen lying in third. So, with that being said, and we got to talk about it, let's go and take a look at who's starting where as our drivers make their way off the line. So, Bernard Barkhuizen, this is Henry Mayer starting out in first place. Bago Krobler lying in second. Bernard Barkhuizen in third. Killian Rayner in fourth. Ryan Barrington-Smith in fifth, with Fleming Bauer Duplessis in seventh. Christoph Peterson, Daniel Rowe, Brandon Kruger, Andre Serradio, Jean Leroux in 12th. 13th Ruan van der Race. Werner Skuman, Dean Nokia in 15th. 16th is Jaco Kotze, Mahath Musa, Kerry van Zyl, Mac van der Merwe, Jude Neville, Vietia Buerta, Mordrake Larsens, Ruan Kleinans, Daniel Hitman de Villiers, Jean Verveers, Paul Fenter, Eric Kirstein, Sean Loureiro, Jason Farmer, Ruan Free, Ruan Heineke, followed by Darren Miller, Essam Domingo, Tianas Buerta in 34th, 35th. Keegan Sanderson and Kevin Jacobs rounding out our field here tonight. 36 of the fastest in the world coming through, and this is not only just South Africans. We have got people from outside South Africa. We got 3 servers running, Pro, Pro-Am, and Am, all running simultaneously, but our Pro division looking to stand on top. Anushka Burta going and saying, go Martian Racing, putting in some big support there, hoping that it's all going to claw their way to the top. Bago Krobler, though, looking to take that away. Bernard Barkhuizen looking to relive the glory, had a taste of the cherry, and I can tell you, drivers know how sweet it is to come in first place, how much you need to really put your teeth into it. And even over to our virtual grandstands, you can go and ask anyone there, from Dylan, Anushka, Marius, Yusuf, Gamble, everyone will agree. Seeing your name at the top, seeing your name in the lights, and being in first place is everything to these drivers to ensure that they walk away with the most points, the bragging rights, and that opportunity to go and score the victory. But what a beautiful shot of GT3's mixture of machinery. Mid-engines, front engines, rear engines, Ferraris, Hondas, BMWs, Audis, Mustangs, whatever you can think of is lining up. Drivers from different communities, drivers from all parts of the world, all parts of South Africa, lining up to really do battle, but eyes will be firmly put to the front here. Henry Mayer is our championship leader, has got Bago Krobler, who has been the underdog in this championship, looking to fight it out. Bernard Barkhuizen with his teammate, Kilian Rayner, right next to him. Last time, these two actually came to blows at Laguna Seca, and then it was just a fight to and fro to get to the top, with both going and trying to undercut each other in the previous race, round 3. So let's see what this week is going to hold as they make their way around. It is going to be slow going. Hope you warmed up those brakes. Hope you warmed up those tires. And hope those nerves are not on edge, because you need to be cool, you need to be calm, and you need to enjoy the French countryside here at Paul Ricard. Time to get racing. So, what's going to get the run here? Aston Martin, McLaren? What's going to be more powerful? Ferrari, maybe, going to have a good time. As Henry Mayer, slow going, waiting to go, 70 kilometers an hour. Hold your position. Hold. Wait for Jim to throw the green. And away they go. Henry Mayer off to a phenomenal start. Really pushed the boundaries of where that line is to get a jump start or not. Bego Krobler getting swamped in as Bernard Barkhuizen tried to go around him. Gideon Rayner was stuck in for the fight and really had to back out of it. Now Gideon Rayner has got Ryan Barrington-Smith all over the back of him, looking left, looking right, trying to see where he can get by. It is going to be a chase on the way through. Fleming Bauer trying to make up some time, but take a look. Bego Krobler under some pressure. Bernard Barkhuizen around the outside looks to try and go for an undercut to sweep it in underneath him. Couldn't quite get it done. But we do have a little bit of a touch and go. Duplessis falling down the order, trying to keep it all together. He's stuck on the outside. Now Werner Skuman all over the back of him as Jean Leroux gets a jump on him. This is going to be a proper charge. As we saw, the Mustang of Werner Skuman is not able to go and get around the corners, but he is more than happy to gap it down a straight on the way through. So, back up towards the front, Henry Mayer, long since checking out of this little fight. He's trying to stay away from it, but now Bernard Barkhuizen is going to try and go later in the braking to get underneath Bego Krobler. Can he carry the momentum through the right-hander? Whoa, lots of cars going for those off-tracks. Ryan Barrington-Smith really going and venturing and seeing what he can do with Gideon Rayner following suit right behind him, trying to make up some time. Unfortunately, that's not going to work out for them, but we do have a bit of an incident that's gone on. The 404 being part of that. That is Leroux, who had a little bit of a run with Werner Skuman and Duplessis right behind him. It's going to be under braking though. Let's see what happens through the right-hander. All looking okay. Runs out a little bit wide. Leroux gets a slow exit. Oh, Skuman with a light tap behind. And there goes Leroux. Now trying to get himself back on track. So that, unfortunately, is going to absolutely decimate the tires on the way through. So he's going to have to be very, very careful and a ginger on his way back through the field. Christoph Peterson, though, trying to make his way through. Got Fleming Bauer all over in the front of him. Daniel Rowe trying to do anything he can right at this moment to get past with the BMW. Not able to carry as much momentum as he would like. He's going to keep really tucked in. Look for the inside line. Couldn't quite get it done as yet. Backed out of it. The Hybrid Racing Daniel Rowe trying his luck. But also another little fight that's starting to go on. Dean Norkier going and battling with Kerry Van Zale. Oh, Mac van der Merwe with a huge dive. And we just caught the tail end of that. Mac van der Merwe trying to claw his way through, going and getting a little bit boisterous, losing out the drive. Kerry saying, listen here, buddy, that's not quite how you want to get the pass done. Let me show you how to come and fight back. As he immediately gets back into the slipstream, pulls himself along, got to look for a pass on the way through. Not going to be an easy time here. Carrying a lot of momentum, bringing on Kerry Van Zale right now as they make their way through. So Mac van der Merwe going to be very careful. Jude Neville tries to go for a very interesting pass. 3 wide, coming to the bottom of the straight. A lot on the brakes. Mac van der Merwe losing out. But if you want to talk about anyone that is going high stakes gamble, Jude Neville literally put all the chips on the table. He said, I'm throwing it all in, and got the pass done. What? 3 wide and you got it done. Absolutely tremendous. Jaco Kutzer trying to go up on the inside of Nokia. Couldn't get it all hooked in. He's going to try and keep it trapped right behind. Wow. Oh, wow. Wowie. I want to take a look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to take a look of an onboard on that. Please take a look of what a skill this did. If this is going all in, this is pushing all the chips to the center of the table and saying, I'm all in, and you're risking it. the trust in the drivers that he's going to carry the drive. Remember, he's still got cars next to him and sends it up on the inside with no room on the inside up against the wall and gets it done. Wow. Man, oh man. Sorry, I had to relive that action because if anyone wants to tell you how you go put it all together, that's the way to do it. And now he's back onto the fight with Yako Kutsa as they chase each other down. Oh, Yako getting it sideways on the way through. Can't quite get the tail. All's checked out as yet. Jude Neville going to come back at him. And I wonder if he's going to lead to that inside line again. Is he going to go for that right-hand side? No, he's going to switch it up. Going to go for the left-hand side. Carrying a lot of slipstream on the way through. And I think the Ferrari has got a monster amount of drive over the rest of the field. McLaren, as we've been informed by Dylan, saying it's very, very strong on the circuit. And just try to hold it side by side. Both getting tank slappers. Macford Merva and the likes of Hereford Zale going and joining suit. But we do have yellow flags for the number 93 though. And that is De Villiers who got it all out of shape. And it looks like we got a spin out. And that, unfortunately, looks like a bit of carnage actually going down. Number 14, part of that. That is for Fears with Paul Fenter trying to come around him. So Paul Fenter on the back. Oh, there goes De Villiers. He lost the rear into the right-hander. Oh, and there goes for Fears. He loses it. Oh, and his teammate in the number 5 comes sign on. That is Eric Kirstein. That ate a whole lot of door of a hybrid racing. Not quite how you want to go when they say we all hold hands and walk together. Unfortunately, that's a little bit too much on the wild side and land up with a bit of a problem. Back up towards our top though. Gideon Rayner and Ryan Barrington-Smith still going at it though. Gideon Rayner trying to catch up to his teammate Bernard Barkhuizen, who has let Bago Krobler and Henry Mayer go. So he's in a little bit no man's land at the moment. Daniel Rowe with Christoph Peterson right behind trying to chase these two down. So keep an eye on it. Daniel Rowe bringing a big train along at the moment. But Gideon Rayner is going to carry a lot of momentum here as he's got the slipstream. Can he get the run on the Aston Martin on the way through? Going to be a proper charge. Looking to try go towards the inside of the circuit ever so slightly, middle of the track. And you can need to see Ryan Barrington-Smith trying to go a little bit more defensive. Going and holding his line. Going to carry a lot of momentum. Dives onto the front nose to try and make it his way through. Getting it all hooked in. And just taking a look behind. Brandon Kruger goes out wide. And Werner Skuman capitalizing. But Werner goes out wide. Brandon Kruger putting his nose in. Going to try and lift to cause a little bit of contact between the two. Brandon Kruger just a little bit of side on, but Werner Skuman going to come back at him. The Padassi driver, the slide tag, brings it back though, and immediately getting swallowed up by Andre Serradio, who tries to go and capitalize on the mistake made. So Skuman tried to bring the car back, a little bit of understeer, killed him off there, but Serradio going to try come back at him, launching his way through. Skuman going instantly back on the attack to Kruger, trying to call his bluff at this point, and seeing who's going to roll the dice first. But it does look like Kruger carrying a little bit more momentum down the straight will break away. A little bit further back, Duplessis, Mahath Musa, and Dean Nokia having a good go with one another. The hybrid racing not having an easy time here as Mahath Musa ahead of Nokia is going on the attack, while Jude Neville, who is now onto the back of Dean Nokia. Dean Nokia, for anyone that doesn't know where this chap has come from, and where this talent has come from, well, he actually came from console racing on Gran Turismo, like many of our drivers are going and moving on. A couple of like Ruin Heineke coming from Project Cars, if I remember correctly. I will be corrected by Dylan on that one. Project Cars 2, done a lot of racing on it. My actual teammate Janneman Price also, same thing. Project Cars 2, that was the racing that went on. And transitioned over to the world of PC sim racing and has so far made a great time out here. Mahath Musa, Project Vapor, going on the inside of Duplessis, now stuck on the outside. Duplessis, who has soloed a 8-hour Enduro around Monza, will have to fight against Mahath Musa, who has transitioned over to iRacing in prototype racing and has really put a firm dominance there. So Project Vapor getting a proper run over Hybrid Racing. Now Duplessis will have his teammate on the back of him. And Jude Neville, who is now going very wide, battling his way through. Not an easy time to try and bring it all together as they make their way around the track. So proper charges on the way through here. Anyone having to try and close up the gap. But side by side racing, Duplessis and the likes of Dean going to battle it out. Duplessis backing out of the fight though, going to switch around, not worry about it too much. Dean getting a little bit unsettled under braking, and that's instantly going to have Duplessis onto the back of him. So Quinton needing to really get a little bit of hurry up here, and will be cheering on. But some side-by-side racing going on. Ryan Barrington-Smith just keeping ahead of Gideon Rayner, who's now been fed into Daniel Rowe, and Christoph Peterson joining into the fray as well. So this is going to be a proper charge for them, with the likes of Gideon Rayner trying to make his way through. But let's talk about the elephants in the room. Well, let's talk about the two elephants in the room, because a lot of these drivers are going to have to play a little bit of a guessing game. Yep, it is time to roll the dice, and how much of the stakes are going to be on the cards right now, because they have got 2 mandatory pit stops as the pit window is now open. You've got to do 2 mandatory pit stops to get it done and dusted. How do you get a pit stop? Well, pull into the pits, stop, get the car jacked up, put at least 1 liter of fuel in the car, and then back down and go racing. Oh, what on earth happened to Ryan Barrington-Smith? 0 speed down the straight. And now Gideon Rayner around the outside trying to carry the momentum. Can he bring it through? Daniel Rowe on the back of him. And Ryan just able to bring it back. So wasn't able to carry too much momentum. And now instantly as Daniel Rowe going and pushed right into Gideon Rayner. So Rayner tried capitalizing on an opportunity. That fed him back into a fight. But we do see yellow flags for the 177 car. And that is Jaco Kutzer, who landed up getting turned round. So we will go back to that replay shortly. But Gideon Rayner having a proper charge. Looking around, trying to see where he can go. Daniel Rowe right behind him. Losing out a little bit of momentum down the back. And it looks like all the pit stops starting to happen. Daniel Rowe and Christoph Peterson into the pits. Brandon Kruger going to keep on to the back of Fleming Bauer on the way through. Quite a few drivers are doing it. Duplessis into the pits as well. So, this is the roll of the dice that we're looking forward to see. Further down though, Jean Leroux with the likes of Kevin Jacobs, Mordred Claessens onto the back of one another. It looks like Ruan Kleinans pulling into the pits. So Kleinans is saying, hey, listen, yeah, I'm going to get myself back into the box and get myself sorted out. Duplessis trying to get going once again. From the race was in the pits there with his Mercedes GT3 AMG Evo. Beautiful, beautiful car. Loud, proud, and shouts it all out. Going to be having a bit of time there. Kevin Jacobs feeling the pressure from Mordred Claessens, who is coming back at him, doing everything he can. The Panassi Infiltrate Furious 2 onto the back of the Kevin Bilstein at the moment. Car of Kevin Jacobs. Trying to go a little bit more defensive, utilizing a little bit more suspension, trying to lean onto those coilovers and ensure that he can really get the power down and get going all the way through. So some proper racing there. Jean Leroux breaking away, trying to make up some time. Further up though, Fleming Bauer on the attack to Brandon Kruger, trying to make his way through. And this is going to be a proper charge for him. So Brandon Kruger having to go very defensive at the moment, holding back Fleming Bauer left, right, and center. And that is allowing Werner Skuman in the Mustang. That's now closing down on the action, trying to see where he can make it up as they're going to go late on the brakes. And it does look like Fleming Bauer not too settled through the corner. That has allowed Werner Skuman to get into it. The Mustang, rear contact with Fleming Bauer. Both are okay. That is definitely going to upset the rear on both cars. And I don't think Werner Skuman quite anticipated the braking zone of Fleming Bauer. And unfortunately got a little bit sucked in there. But that little bit of contact has played into Andre Sorodio's hands as he's closed up onto the back of Werner Skuman on the way through. So Werner Skuman's going to have to really think about his next move, whether he wants to go on the attack, because Sorodio will be coming back at him as hard as possible as we jump on board with Sorodio. left, right, trying to bring the nose round, doing everything he can through the right-hander. And you can see how close he's getting as we get onto that front splitter. This is all about carrying the momentum. Is he going to lift? Carrying all the power through right to the fringes of the circuit. But that Mustang has got some serious ground on him and will look to pull away. As you can see, Werner Skuman closing up the gap, but breaking away from Serodio on the way through. Fleming Bauer's going to be very, very careful here. Middle of the circuit, Skuman making his move towards the inside line. And will he be able to do it? Gets his nose in. Is he going to be able to hold, or is he going to fold? He's going to carry the momentum through Serodio, trying to look for a split in the middle. And Werner Skuman just leading onto that McLaren enough to try and open up a gap. Can he carry the momentum through? Just not winning with that understeer on the way, but gets a pass done at this point. Whoo, boy, racing everywhere, up and down through the field, but wild racing on the charge. Kevin Jacobs and Mordre Claessens having a good go with one another. Claessens going up on the inside of Jacobs, gets a pass done. So now Jacobs getting swallowed up. Tianus Buerta trying to have a go at him. Tianus getting pushed out wide. And Ren Heineke going and sending it in. Saying from Project Cars to ACC, watch what I can do. Sending it blue and green towards the top. So this is going to be quite a bit of fun. And I know there's quite a few people back at home at Sarko. They're going to be jumping for joy on that one as Heineke getting a pass done and dusted. Always great to see the drivers doing everything they can. Wonder if Peter Heidemann is going to be also cheering that whole little battle on, saying, hey, go, go, go. Because if I remember correctly, Rian and Heidemann had a good rivalry for a long time. And Heidemann said, listen, if you can get a good pass done, definitely going to be chatting. But it was definitely under code coconuts at that point. I know there's quite a few people that are going to understand that little reference back into the world of sim racing. Ryan Barrington-Smith, though, on to the outside of Bernard Barkhuizen, who got the win last night. He manages to hold the position over Ryan Barrington-Smith. Gets a little bit of a step back, though. Side by side, and Ryan Barrington-Smith puts his nose on the inside, trying to carry the momentum through. Ryan, who's now ventured into the world of go-karting, trying to kickstart his career in motorsport, but has done seriously well in the world of sim racing, gets a pass done on Bernard Barkhuizen, who has stood on the top of the charts before in previous seasons of the RACEFACE.PRO GT3 Championship, but now he is into the clutches of his own teammates, Gideon Rayner and Brandon Kruger. So this is going to be an OG fight towards the way through, but Gideon Rayner, though, is in a little bit of a tough situation because he's got KSR ahead of him, which is the sister team, OG KSR. The Ominous Gaming Racing will be now trying to figure it out, and Ominous Gaming, Gideon Rayner, is missing his teammates. So he's going to try and chat to the KSR cars. He's going to say, listen, guys, give me a bit of a break here as he goes for the attack, gets the pass done. But Bernard Barkhuizen tried closing that door. I don't think there was much communication there. And more Gideon Rayner just putting his nose in and saying, listen, deal with it right now. Getting the pass done. And will carry the momentum through. So Bernard Barkhuizen's going to drop into the toe now, pull himself through. And this is going to be a proper run for him. Brandon Kruger, though, has lost out a little bit of time. But let's talk about strategies as we've had our pit window open. We're into the later stage of the race. It's 18 minutes to go. 18 minutes of the race that's been completed. Mahath Musa is the bar currently of drivers that have done their first pit stops. And he has dropped down the order a little bit, so keep an eye on him. And Daniel Rowe. No, Daniel Rowe is actually the first that has done the pit stop. Then it's Christoph Peterson that is chasing him down. So these two are the bar that they need to keep ahead of. So, we always talk about the bar. So what happens when you're sitting at the PokerBet table? Well, you take a look at who is getting those challenges done. Who is playing those big moves? What's the strategies coming in here? And you start looking at the guys that start putting down the cards early. They start calling those bluffs early on. And they playing their hands a little bit on the earlier side of things. So they got the pit stop done and dusted. First of their mandatory pit stops. They need 2 to be completed. You got your first one done. You want to try and pit and get out before them. So your target is to get out ahead of Daniel Rowe at current. If you don't, your hands are a little bit further back than your competition. If you get it ahead, better opportunity here. You got to try and close up that little bit of a gap. So let's see how the drivers are going to understand this and start thinking about the long game. What's needing to be done now that there's an hour into this race to go and only 15 minutes of that pit window. So you have to pit within the pit window. 10 minutes after the start and 10 minutes before the end. That's when you have to pit to get your 2 mandatory stops. Go beyond that there, it's 180 seconds, which we saw already handed out at the beginning of the season, I think it was round 3 at Monza, where the drivers ran into that. So, that being said, let's take a look at who's where. Henry Mayer out in first place, Baker Krobler in second. Third place, Ryan Barrington-Smith with the likes of Kilian Rayner and Bernard Barkhuizen lying in fourth. Trying to go back at his teammate there. Brandon Kruger, Werner Skuman. Then we've got Andres Rodeo ahead of Fleming Bauer in 9th, 10th place. June Neville, Dean Nokia, along with Mac Van Merwe, Sean Herrera, Viertia Buerta getting a pass done on Harry van Zale. Daniel the Hitman de Villiers in the lovely, lovely Lamborghini, getting a lot of momentum. Shout out to him. He's actually tried to teach me how to race, and I think I gave him more grey hairs than anything. Jason Farmer in 17th, 18th, Chandler Room, Maldrek Clausen's in 19th, 20th. Kevin Jacobs, Paul Fenton in 21st, keeping ahead of Tianas Buerta in 22nd. Ren Heineke running in 23rd with the new livery. Daniel Rowe in 24th. 25th, Darren Miller of PWSR, keeping ahead of Christoph Peterson in 26th. Christoph, second of those that have already completed their first pit stop, and he's lying in 26th, a little bit behind likes of Daniel Rowe. Mahath Musa a little bit further down in 27th. 28th, Keegan Sanderson, Rian for the race. Quentin Duplessis, Rian Kleinans, Rian Ferree, and Issam Domingo in 33rd. So we have lost a couple of drivers due to technical difficulties. So they are going and doing everything they can there. So Dylan going and showing a little bit of heartbreak there. Unfortunately, the wrap not quite showing. You know what, Dylan, do me a favor, bud. I know that you have spent some time there and you guys have really done the liveries and really put in the effort. I want you to send it to me out in the DMs. Let's see if we can get the car wrapped for the broadcast. So send it over to me. I'll put it in. Don't worry about the going through the long process. Let's try and get it in for the next race. So we'll work around it. We'll work around it. That does go out to quite a few of the drivers that do have the liveries that are running into issues. Please send it out. Let's get those things sorted out. Because not only do we want to showcase our amazing talents, but amazing designers that our drivers are displaying. And that's one thing I got to say a shout out for. Because there's a lot of amazing talent in terms of design teams to bring out some epic liveries, as we see Tianas Buerta and Daniel Rowe get ahead of Heineke, who actually lifted to let the guys go and said, right, you guys get ahead. I'm going to tell you, Daniel Rowe gets the pass done. So Tianas Buerta actually playing a little bit of a team game here, allowing Daniel Rowe to get ahead, knowing where his fight is compared to the likes of Daniel Rowe. And he immediately switches in to get into the fight with Ren Heineke. That is right on the back of him. Christoph Peterson, though, in the little Honda, will be coming back at him. So, as we said, yes, showcasing the talents of our drivers out on track for the PokerBet GT3 Championship here at RACEFACE.PRO. But also, we want to showcase the amazing talent, the design teams, because a lot of people have been coming up with new and creative liveries and going and making their way through. So, I've actually got a challenge to throw out, and I think the people at PokerBet are going to be taking this note of this one. And, well, I'm going to say, PokerBet, let's make a challenge for our drivers and our design teams out there, everyone that's making a livery, because, well, we like switching it up. We like challenging the drivers. And well, PokerBet, you guys have come up and you said, well, 100,000 Rand wasn't enough. You went to 150,000 Rand as a prize. Well, how about let's drop a little bit of a competition. Let's go and challenge the drivers and teams to make custom liveries that are in the style of PokerBet. So, Casino Royale type of stuff. Royal flushes, jokers, kings, queens, aces, cards, dice, a whole roulette table. I want to see the creativity come out, and I know a lot of these teams will be going and also thinking about it as well of, that might be an idea. So I'm putting the challenge out to everyone, pro, am, and am. Challenge goes out to you guys, and I want you to tag PokerBet and the likes of RACEFACE.PRO out on social media, and we want to see those liveries, and we want to see them competing. How about that? To everyone out there in the virtual grandstands, would you like to see teams and drivers make liveries that are in the style of PokerBet? Because we're talking about gambling, baby. We're talking about putting out the best of the best and having this styling to go with it. I mean, we've got Aston Martins out here, and a bit of Casino Royale can't go and affect everyone, and that's what my challenge is. So out there, to everyone in the virtual grandstands, I want to hear yes or no. Would you like to see some starred liveries for recognition for our amazing, talented people out on the track? Bernard going saying, hoping for a podium for Gideon. Well, he's done it before. He's carried a lot of momentum to get that climb, so he can do it again. Paul Fence getting the pass on Bernard Barkhuizen. So Bernard's pulled into the pits and has got himself out. But has it been enough? Bernard Barkhuizen down in 21st position, has lost out the run to Daniel Rowe, who pitted early in this run. So this is going to be some close racing there. So Bernard Barkhuizen now has to try and get past the likes of Paul Fenter on the way through. But let's go back up the order. Let's go and take a look at 7th, 8th, and 9th position, because we got a little bit of a battle building up. Jude Neville, Fleming Bauer, and Andre Sorodio having a good go at one another, trying to chase each other down. And with Fleming Bauer constantly hunting for the inside line of Sorodio, who's guarding that inside line. A little bit of step out though. The BMW not too happy on entry, going and bouncing off those bump stops. And where Fleming Bauer a little bit more comfortable in the McLaren. We heard that the McLaren has got some great top end out on the track other than the Mustang. So he's trying to make up some time here. Sorodio will be on the back foot. BMW was the strongest car, but BOP has brought it a little bit more into check and has gone and amplified that little bit of understeer, where the Project Vapor team have got the advantage. They've been developing the car since its time on Assetto Corsa Competizione. They went in transition from BMW M6, Ferrari, 488, McLaren. They've done quite a variety, but the BMW has been a constant in their stable to develop this M4 GT3 to its standard. Jude Neville, though, who is in the Ferrari 296, this is the newer of the GT3 cars that's come out to the world of Assetto Corsa Competizione, and now trying to make up some time. Will carry a little bit more momentum down the straight, but just not having that same top end that's required to get ahead of Fleming Bauer. So Fleming's going to carry the momentum through, but we do see a little bit of carnage happening on in the background. Vietia Burta, Hayford Zale, and now De Villiers in the Lamborghini. Slight nudge in the rear there. De Villiers tucking into the back and is trying to assist Vietia Burta. I think possibly tried going for a little bit of a bump draft there to try and push him a little bit further up. Very, very interesting move, and what we usually see for bump drafts actually happens mostly in NASCAR. How that turns out is you put enough pressure onto the back of the car ahead of you, just slightly pushing them along. Extra 2-3 kilometers means they have to brake that little bit earlier, because now they're carrying extra 2-3 kilometers into a corner, but it can push you out of a train as well. So for the likes of Kerry Fadzale, who was in a little bit of no man's land, he had the back foot to the likes of Buerta and Daniel de Villiers. Unfortunately, a little bit hard there for the hitman. He came in like a missile, and unfortunately, he went and upset the rear of the car. So not ideal circumstances there on the way through. So the driver's having to be very, very cautious on their fight of who's going to be able to claw their way to victory here. And it does look like Mac Merva pulling into the pits. So he is another one of the cars getting those stops done. 40 minutes left of our pit window. 50 minutes and 47 seconds left of our racing here on a Thursday night for the RACEFACE.PRO PokerBet GT3 Championship. A history-making championship, might I add. 150,000 Rand on the cards in cash and PokerBet credits joined up to make this happen. PokerBet really stepped up to make it happen, and considering they just recently run a whole event, and you heard me right, an event based on the Olympics at PokerBet, you want to head over to the likes of their page down in the description, click the link, be a part of it. That is also the RACEFACE.PRO affiliate link. Join up, be a part of it, and win big with PokerBet, because they have got another one running on. That you have a chance to win. Get your hand in for a 3 million Rand prize. So, if the racing is getting you excited and you're feeling lucky, you best go and take a look at PokerBet, because I can tell you they are going all out this season, all out this year, and pulling out all the stops here at RACEFACE.PRO, and having some great time out here. Buerta dealing with de Villiers though, but it is all out towards the sharp end of the field. Henry Mayer, 3.6 seconds ahead of Bego Krobler. Let's talk about this for a minute, because it's a hot take. Bego Krobler, Ryan Barrington-Smith lying in third. These three got off a line and got ahead of the OG team. They really got the momentum to keep ahead of them. Ryan Barrington-Smith was part of that early attack. Then Bego Krobler getting the momentum. He actually got swallowed up into the grid at the start of the race. Had a little bit of a tough time out there to try and keep his position. Defending left and right and being stuck in the middle of the track means braking zones are a little bit unsteady and not an easy time. Lost out to Henry Mayer, who is a championship leader, but might I add, Henry Mayer, who has proven to be mostly undefeatable during the course of the season in the Sprint Series and on the GT3 Championship, was beaten last night. He actually came in third. Paul Fenton dropping a position to Mahath Musa, as we see Mahath Musa with a big Project Vapor on the side. PokerBet off the corners. Good to see it out there. Going and make his way through. But Henry Mayer lost out that little bit of time and couldn't quite keep it all together. So he even said this track is his Achilles heel, so he needs to really dial it up. How much is he doing to those tires? Because Daniel Rowe, Bernard Barkhuizen, Christoph Peterson, and Mahath Musa, who we currently have on screen, all have only done splash and dashes in their car. In other words, they just put a little bit of fuel in. They were stopped in the box for 5 seconds, 6 seconds at most, and then got going. Where the likes of where your tire stops come in, that takes about 30 seconds in the box. So be very mindful of that. Paul Fenton onto the back of Mahath Musa. Big rivalry between these two that have been spanning on for months and months and months. They're both going and jockeying in terms of jokes. They've really gone out to it. I mean, the latest of it is Paul Fenton getting photoshopped with, approved by Paul Fenton with a Project Vapor on the cup. And the immediate, when that came out, he said he was absolutely laughing, but at the same time was going, why? Why would I approve a Project Vapor on my mug? It's logistical nightmare racing. But there's photographic proof that Paul Fenton is supporting Project Vapor, and that's why he drinks out of their mug. I know I'm going to get in trouble for that one. Great stuff out there. Jean Leroux onto the back of Jason Farmer, trying everything he can to carry the momentum through. Lots and lots of racing going on, but field's starting to open up a little bit more on the way through. So many drivers starting to try and figure out what's going to be the clever parts here. What's going to be needed to carry that bit more momentum. Close racing is between Andre Sorodia and Jude Neville within the top 10. Now it is just a slipstream. Jude Neville has been pulling some very, very late moves at the end of the straight. Very comfortable under the braking zone. Now side by side, will get past Rodeo, but can he get the sweep in? As he does get round Rodeo, having to tail it back. And we just had that speed cam out on the inside of the corner. And it could show you how quick these cars are actually coming by. How close they're having to get to the apex and throw themselves out wide. It actually goes and drags the nose on the way through. You really don't want to go too tight, otherwise you start scrubbing those fronts a little bit harder than planned and forcing that understeer to come out a little bit earlier than planned. So you want to try and just protect the tires a little bit more. This track is a very new circuit in terms of tar, in terms of the layout, and also just the way it's designed. Not as aggressive on the tires, doesn't burn through tires as quickly. So this is where a lot of drivers are going to be thinking, is it worth doing the tire changes? Is it worth going in the box and getting your tires sorted out? Or are you going to try and conserve and protect those tires from the start of the race and keep it going for 1 hour, 20 minutes? It's going to be a bit of a close one there. Bit of a guessing game. Splash and dashes at the start. Yes, I think that may have been the play that's needed to make their way through. But we are getting reports here. Number 13 and 87 having a bit of contact with one another. As we see Jason Farmer and John LaRue battle out. This is the battle of Isam Domingo. And looks to be our leaders coming by. So Isam Domingo getting caught out by one of the OG drivers. That might have been Bernard Barkhazen. And immediately getting pushed along. Oh, contact. That might have been, sorry, that was hitting on Rayner that gave a little bit of contact there. And yellow flags for the 404, going and getting it all out of shape. Let's go to the helicab and see Jean LaRue, who landed up with a yellow flag being put out for him. And did the Ferrari get a little bit of a snap oversteer? Oh, over the curbs a little bit too much. And gets it all swung around. Is able to save it. Does stop just off the apex. And you see Daniel Rowe just coming by. And I know the big sigh of relief right there, saying, whew, okay, at least I didn't have to slow down too much, but not ideal circumstances. Andres Serradio, though, trying to get back onto the back of Jude Neville. Will try and make his way through. And immediately that BMW is looking a lot more put together than the Ferrari through the twisties. Leads me to wonder, has Jude Neville gone a little bit too far in terms of low aero? Well, he's just pulled into the pits. Serradio, who's caught out, saying, okay, so you're in the pits now. What is that going to mean for me on the way through? So, a couple of drivers pulling in. Jude Neville going and getting into the pits. And I do think it's some Domingo who had the earlier contact. His tires are also absolutely cooked. And he's getting a pit stop done and dusted. Trying to work out where are the drivers going to come out in this one. Who's going to be able to get the climb? Tiana Spuerta up on the inside of front of race on the inside of Tiana Spuerta. Gets past done. Heineke going and stealing it right at the last there. And he gets it absolutely booked in. So Spuerta, who got stuck on the outside line, not going to be too happy with that. Let's actually go back about 30 seconds. And let's take a look from the helmet cam of Heineke of how he managed to get this done. So he's lined up, seeing for the race, trying to go for the attack. Tiana Spuerta going and losing out a little bit of time, stuck on the outside line. Can see keeping it very tight. Goes around the outside, sweeps across the nose, and gets it done. So just sees a mistake coming through. Heineke immediately goes the long game and gets his way through. Great run out there, but we do see yellow flags starting to creep in more and more. This time for the number 93, the PWSR, coming out of the pits. And I think that was also Jude Neville. Yes, both coming out of the pits to try and get themselves sorted. And will be coming into some very, very busy traffic on the way of the exit. No, actually not. Very, very clean. I thought they came out into busier traffic this time. Not so much. So they had a clean run there. Christoph Peterson, a little bit of an off-track excursion for the number 77 as he tries to make his way through. Yellow flags did come up for a brief moment in that run. But Andreas Serradio into the pits, trying to get himself sorted out of the top 10. Dean Norkia going and following suit. as they try to get their way through. So let's see where they come out, because Daniel Rowe is the bar here. And Daniel Rowe did that earlier pit stop to get it done and dusted. Will he make up enough time? Yet in the pits as well here for Sale. Oh, I mean, this is so close for Daniel Rowe. Can he make the climb? He does, into the top 10, so he has made up some ground. Bernard Barkhazen in 11th has made up a proper bit of ground. Jean Leroux, Mordrake Claasen's coming out of the pits, and he tries to make his way through. Mahath Musa go through. So Mordrake Claasen actually wasn't in the pits. Mahath Musa came out of the pits. Mordrake Claasen's just moved over to the pit lane to try and just carry the momentum through. So he's just trying to keep that a little bit going. Back up towards the sharp end of the field, and Brandon Kruger starting to have a problem. And it looks like a galloping Mustang right behind him. So Brandon Kruger will be all over the back of Werner Skuman will be all over the back of Brandon Kruger. Kruger will be on the back of Gideon Reyna at this point. So going to be egging on the teammates, saying, hey, listen, got a bit of a problem here. We've got a panda ass here, a very angry panda on the back of us. And now going to try to make up some time. Brandon Kruger really doing everything he can to just try and hold his ground as they make their way through. Proper running as they charge their way through. Kruger keeping ahead of Skuman, but Henry Mayer is into the pits. We just got reports there. So Henry Mayer, our leader, into the pits. Bago Crawler is going to get the jump. Ryan Barrington Smith is going to get the jump. And I think we will see the rest of the field starting to get that climb. Gideon Reyna dives into the pits. Interesting enough, Henry Mayer is into the pits. So Gideon Reyna trying to defend on that one, trying to go for the bit of an undercut. Brandon Kruger going a little bit later, sealing the threat coming from Werner Skuman at this point. So very interesting to see how this fight's going to go, but how close will Daniel Rowe get to them, because Fleming Bauer is now in pit lane. Gideon Reyna's in pit lane. Henry Mayer still in pit lane. Jason Farmer coming by. He's not going to get into the pits. And Daniel Rowe pulling into the pits. Daniel Rowe's doing a second of his pit stops. No. Yes, it is. He's doing the second of his pit stops. So if he can get this done, this will be the undercut on the likes of Henry Mayer. Can he get it sorted? It was a splash and dash. Henry Mayer is putting on a new set of tires, so he's going to be coming out of the pits. Righty-o, now we're starting to cook with fire. This is cooking with gas, and this is going to be interesting. Henry Mayer on a new set of tires. Mac Vandermerve on splash and dash. Duplessis on a splash and dash. Gideon Reyna comes out on a set of tires. Alrighty-o. Now we're starting to see everything come alive. Kruger and Skuman going to war with one another, each going and playing go fish with one another, trying to see who's going to get the extra climb. But Henry Mayer first to change his tires. So this is going to be interesting. Gideon Reyna's on a new set of tires. Henry Mayer's on a new set of tires. The rest of our drivers, Fleming Bowers changed tires. Drew Neville's changed tires. Serodius changed tires. Everyone going for that later game. Where that's going to end up is nobody knows. 28 minutes left of our pit window, and we see Brandon Kruger pull to the pits. Werner Skuman's going to carry the momentum through. He's going to try and make up a bit of time. So Bernard Barkhazen is first of everyone that needed to do the pit stops. Daniel Rowe is the first of everyone that has completed a pit stop. So Daniel Rowe is in the pound seat at the moment, but now he has to put those lap times in. He has to successfully run low 54s, 1 minute 54s dead to 1 minute 53s to ensure that he makes up that bit of ground. He needs to really go and dig in deep to try and get that done. Duplessis onto the back of Mac Vandermerve. Mac Vandermerve, a driver that sometimes doesn't get all the time to get in the seat to really get racing, has got Duplessis, who has been putting hours and hours and hours in and knows how to really push the Audi to its limits. We see Mac Vandermerve dive into the pits, so Duplessis going to say, okay, I'll take that position, no problem. So Kruger, Jean Leroux for the race, and Mac Vandermerve into the pits. But first of everyone that has done their pit stops is the likes of Rowe, with Peterson, Musa, Venter, Claydons, Ferree, and Heineke. They have completed all their pit stops. Darren Miller, though, oh man, drive-through penalty coming in for him. Not a great time. And let's see how he's going to have to pull back. I think Darren Miller is going to be kicking himself a little bit here. But one thing I can say about old Thriller Miller is he doesn't quit. He's actually one of the drivers that I take my hat off to him. Many people don't quite know the story of what happened to him. So his team, unfortunately, had a disconnect. They were out of the race. Done. It was an endurance race, 8 hours, and that was it. Old Thriller Miller sent me a message, personal one, saying, "Bud, I need to get in. I want to see the end of this, and I want to carry the PWSR name right to the end." So he did. We organized. He understood that he will be out of the race. He'll have to start from lap 0. Oh, Keegan Sanderson gets it all out of shape. Comes across the nose of Jacobs, who immediately loses out the position to back for the Merva, who's going to carry way more momentum. Gets past the likes of Keegan and Kevin Jacobs at this point. So he's gone and said thank you very much on that and gets by. But anyway, back to Thriller Miller. He gets in and joins the race. No quit until he had nowhere else to go in it. And, well, he stuck it out till the very end, till eventually he could not continue. So, always good to see drivers going and clawing their way through. It's one of the things I always say to everyone is if you're going to race, if you're going to really push yourself out there and ensure that you stand at the top, well, even if you're not quite getting to the winner's table in terms of those high stakes at first place, the one thing you always learn about PokerBet and RACEFACE.PRO is you're going to have to keep it going till the end. You're going to sit at that table. You're going to really look at it, even though you got that losing hand. There's always that chance that Lady Luck is sitting next to you, going and tapping her fingers on the table and saying, one more. Give it one more. That one more hit to ensure that you can claw your way through. That one more stand to stand at the top of the charts, and you can do it. That's what makes it a winner or a loser. It's like zero quit. I mean, let's go back to the Olympics where we walked away with the gold, and PokerBet actually going increasing their prize pool for every gold, silver, and bronze that came in. Going in and trusting the 149 Olympians that went across and said, right, you guys are going to go for it. And to show how much we support our country and support our athletes, we are going to back it up by giving everyone the opportunity to win big with us. And that's exactly what we did. With the sim races, it's that zero quit. It's that keep challenging, that keep moving on. And with only 33 minutes left to this race, it is still open cards towards the top. Bernard Barquez has taken the top spot as Bago crawlers into the pits. Bago serving first of his stops. And now exiting out. Henry Mayer will be in third place as Duplessis trying to come by. So will Duplessis manage to get ahead of his teammate? Oh, it's going to be close though. Very, very close. I don't think he quite had the top end to it. So Bago just getting ahead of Duplessis. Duplessis tried to close up that gap. Couldn't quite get it done. So Bernard Barquez out at the top of the charts with Henry Mayer in second place. Bago Crawler in third. Duplessis lying in fourth. Ryan Barrington-Smith in fifth. Brandon Kruger in sixth. Seventh, Kenyon Raider. Andre Soronio. June Neville. Daniel De Villiers with Fleming Bauer all over the back of him. Bauer not backing down. Trying to give it all the power at this point. A little bit too much though, as he gets take slapper all the way through. Pretty much went and shouted out like Jeremy Clarkson saying power, but at the same time got it all out of shape like Richard Hammond. So he's having to really try and dial it back in. Dean O'Keefe running in 12-13. Troll Herrera, Kerry Fazale, Jason Farmer, Virtua Vuerta, Daniel Rowe in 17th. First of everyone that's completed all their pit stops. And will be one to keep an eye out for because he has led out the charge. Christoph Peterson will be running in that second place. Right behind him in net second place. Jean Leroux in 19th, 20th. Mahath Musa rear for the race. Mordre Claessens going and making up a bit of time there. 22nd, 23rd is Seattle Spurter. Mac for the mover. Kevin Jacobs, Werner Skuman, Keegan Sanderson into the pits. as he's trying to get all sorted out. Paul Fenter will be coming by. Rua Claynuts will be stopping over gas, try and get his way through. It does look like a bit of a slow going Thriller Miller, trying to allow everyone to get by. Beautifully done, well done, actually well executed to let that bite. And now trying to get his way back in. Werner Skuman onto the back of Kevin Jacobs, trying to make his way through. Side by side they go. Kevin Jacobs, though, won't have the top end against the Mustang, as we've seen the likes of Werner Skuman able to carry a lot of momentum. Kevin Jacobs, though, swiftly coming back into that toe. Very, very close towards one another. So they've properly got a good timing out there to ensure that they stand up towards top. Interesting times lay ahead in the final closing stage of the race. 20 minutes and 36 seconds to go, and we do have Killian Rain and Brandon Kruger still close to one another. They're pushing each other along, trying to keep it all together and hoping to play a little bit of defense at the moment. Ryan Barrington-Smith onto the back of Duplessis. These two have a bit of a heated rivalry between one another. Ryan Barrington-Smith will try and close down on the back of this Audi. Duplessis will go defensive. He will get his elbows out of note, trying to hold it, but Ryan Barrington-Smith now going to drag him down. V10 versus V8, and it's the Audi V10 trying to go and sweep across the nose, but it is all about Ryan Barrington-Smith in the V8, and Duplessis second-guessed himself in the corner entry, goes out wide. That is going to hurt him, and that will go and lay into part of his track limit warnings that we get here at a Center Course Competizione, and he will have Jim immediately on the radio saying, well, that's a track cut, buddy. Be careful on it. And it does look like Dean Nokia also following suit. De Villiers coming back at him side by side as they go. De Villiers will keep his nose firmly punched in, trying to really force Nokia to get off the gas, but Nokia not backing out of it. Really cranks on that steering wheel to try and get it down. And De Villiers just getting the drive out of the corner, couldn't quite get it done. This BMW firmly parked it. So Dino Kier going stopping on that apex, and De Villiers of the PWSR, who's very well known to try and get people to come off that apex. He really gets him to get out of their throttle. Unfortunately, couldn't get it done this time. Mahath was having the same problem with Jean Leroux, trying to get underneath him and really get going. So proper fight on the way through. Jean Leroux trying to carry the momentum right behind Mahath Musa. Will be looking to try and go a little bit later on the brakes. A 404 Ferrari trying to get ahead of the BMW M4 GT3 of Mahath Musa. That bright purple, well, that little bit of a metallic-y dark purple, actually quite a nice one. Got a bit of a shine depending on which light you're looking at it. Gotta say, very luminescent. Mahath Musa, part of Project Vapor, and I've got to say, Project Vapor has been one of those teams that, if you want to go for a stylish livery, they've been the most consistent, bar one. And one of them was this sun-bleached red Ferrari. Oh man, it just didn't look the greatest, but big step-ups in terms of the going for the new styling. But as I said, I would love to see a lot of these drivers and teams go and create liveries that feed into the style of PokerBet. And I actually challenge everyone to do it. You know what? I'm going to go so far to even challenge my co-commentator who's going and showing the Pro-Am stream for the RACEFACE.PRO PokerBet GT3 Championship. The Pro-Am division, who is streaming right now on the likes of RACEFACE.PRO. Actually, even better, for our crowd in attendance here in the virtual grandstands, as you see Duplessis pulling into the pits, I challenge you guys. I want you guys to head over and say, well, tell him that I challenge him to make a livery that is purely based on the PokerBet GT3 Championship and go and make it in the style of the casinos. I want to see that. And I know a lot of people have some creative ideas. I've got a bit of an idea for a styling like that. A little bit of playing cards, a little bit of roulette table. What else can you add to it? I know PokerBet will give some great ideas on it because they do have their event going on where you can win 3 million Rand. If you head over to PokerBet, down in the description, sign up with our affiliate link and go for the challenge to win your hand at 3 million rand with PokerBet. Woo! Gotta say, amazing stuff. But we have got our race at the moment, which is for 150,000 rand in cash and PokerBet credits as they battle their way through. Christoph Peterson with Du Plessis all over the back of him, trying left and right. Du Plessis, who just came out of the pits, now needs to get ahead of Peterson and his very own teammate Daniel Rowe, while Mahath Musa is onto the back of him. So these two are racing these three are racing right to the end at this point. They will not have any time for pit stops. They can't get it done. But our top 14 still yet to complete all their pit stops. Mahath Musa stuck on the outside. Going to try and challenge it. He will have the advantage to sweep across the nose. He just needs to carry the momentum ahead of Du Plessis. He does so. And now Du Plessis going to try come back at him. Will he go for the inside line? Mahath Musa carrying a lot of momentum through. Will he go wide though? Du Plessis really leaning onto that left front and just brings it back. That allows Jean Leroux to get into the fray of things. Jean Leroux, who is not fighting for he's fighting for overall position, but not really positioned in this race. Once he does the stop, can put a ding in things. So Du Plessis now having to switch focus from Mahath Musa to Jean Leroux, who is going to really lay into it. Issa Domingo, though, getting a drive-through penalty handed out to him. So not ideal circumstances for him, and will be losing out a lot of time here. But Jean Leroux of the KSR Hex try to go after long-term team rivals of the Hybrid Racing, formerly known as Hybrid Academy at one point. Now Hybrid Racing, as we do see the drive-through getting served by the likes of Domingo. He's trying to get it all done and dusted. Still carrying on the momentum, still getting back out there, which is always great to see. Switch up towards front though, Brandon Kruger losing out to Gideon Raider. He's trying to get a little bit more time. On the way through, this is going to be a bit of a wild run. Gideon Raider, Brandon Kruger going and switching it up. Let's see how that's going to change up for their overall positioning. Who's going to be able to get the climb? Maybe working the tires a little bit too hard, swapping around on each other. But Du Plessis with Jean Leroux all over the back of him. Jean Leroux pushing for that pass. Looking for the outside. Is he going to go for it? This is going to change it up for Du Plessis, who's going to have to work a little bit harder now. Jean Leroux will go and be that little bit of a stop ahead of Mahath Musa. But unless Du Plessis feels that he's going to make up some time, Sanderson with a drive-through penalty, so he's going to get caught out here. As we see Jean Leroux really touching the fringes of that track limit, trying to keep it all together. But Mahath Musa fighting off against Christoph Peterson. These two are properly having a go at one another and really trying to lead into it. Having a little bit of a poker face here, seeing who's going to break first, who's going to not have the advantage heading into it. Christoph Peterson, currently running second of those who have completed all their pit stops, is now battling out with Mahath Musa. So this is a technical net third, unless the other drivers can pit and get ahead of him in the long run. So Mahath Musa trying to make up some ground, but that little Honda is just properly on the button. The only Honda in the field, and I know the only Honda that is racing in the Pro and Pro-Am division as it stands. So Peterson needs to try everything to keep ahead of Mahath Musa on the way through. Not going to be a close battle between these two through the corners until it gets too hard braking, where the BMW instantly closes up that gap. Peterson has got a problem here. He goes a tight inside line. He's going to go out a little bit wide, trying to kill off a drive on Mahath Musa on the way through, carrying as much momentum as possible. Now it's going to be a quick left-hander, keeping on the gas. Really gets to the fringe of the circuit, carrying as much momentum down the straight. Now it is bearing it to the floor. Try and push your foot through the floor onto the ground. Really go and do it. Grab hold of the cable that is connected to the whole engine and drag that with you just to try and open up those carburetors and that fuel injection even more. Mahath Musa with a quick flash saying, I'm coming by, goes and gets past. So I think that might have been an interesting play here. Bear, I want to re-look at that on Peterson's car, and I want to listen very, very carefully. But let's go back 30 seconds here, and let's take a look at Peterson. So we go back. Let's go on board. 6th gear. Max revs. 5th gear. Oh, righty-o. Okay, for anyone that didn't quite know what happened right there, let's talk about this, because this was a very, very interesting move by Christoph Peterson. So, long-term strategy, we talk about a slight lift. Well, Peterson did exactly that to allow Mahaith Musa to get by, and that will allow the likes to get closer to Viertia Murta, who still needs to pit, who's fighting it out with Daniel Rowe. So the two are going to war at one another with each other. So Daniel Rowe will be starting to feel the pressure, but Peterson saying, okay, I'm losing time here, trying to go on defense. Let me work on backing off, and you pull me along. So let's go back a little bit. This is Viertia Murta and Daniel Rowe. Viertia Murta keeping ahead of Daniel Rowe, trying his utmost best to defend. Daniel Rowe trying to get past because, well, he is now racing to the end and just sends it up on the inside of Viertia Murta, really pushing against that fender, and I think that was to try and just get that pass done and dusted. Viertia Murta fighting for overall track position, yes, but also helping out his teammates of Henry Mayer further up the track. So it is a little bit of a help out and not have too much of a problem down the road. That comes into play. Have to see where that all dishes out for him. But we have got a current battle. Daniel De Villiers and Lorera all over the back of one another. The Griffin Sim Racing. And this is meant to have a color scheme that has Sarko on it as well. So Sean Lorera going and representing out there for the Griffin Sim Racing team. Has got Daniel, the Hitman De Villiers of PWSR. The Patterson Works Sim Racing having a good go at him. Harry Fonsale of Pandacity Infiltrate Beavers going and closing up. I have to agree on that. The front end of the BMW really does lean itself to the beaver teeth. I always called it that, and now forever will. It's like the BMW LDMH car is, in my mind, that big whale shark, the big nostrils on it that suck it to the ground. It's not because of their flat bottom aerodynamics. It is purely because the nostrils drag it through. The BMW M4 GT3 seems to be that. Lots of hard work has been into developing the new car. Now the Evo 2 coming out, the Evo coming out in due course. They will be racing with the BMWs. Good to see that they've done some design and some fundamental changes on that one. Brandon Kruger, Gideon Raider. Freud 296s of the Ominous Gaming, PokerBet liveries, and KSR. So these two trying to work their way through. Bleeding a green here for the Ominous Gaming. Trying to make their way to the top. Trying to switch it up between one another. Really focus on what they need to do to carry it to the end. And working with each other to try to close up to Ryan Barrington-Smith. But with only 7 minutes and 56 seconds of the pit window, let's go and see who needs to still pit. Bernard Barkhazen, Henry Mayer, Bago Krobler, Ryan Barrington-Smith, Brandon Kruger, Gideon Raiders in the pits. Andre Sorodio needs to pit, along with Jude Neville, Fleming Bauer, Dean Nokia, Sean Lorero, Daniel the Hitman De Villiers, Kerry Funzale still needing to pit. Then we got Viertia Murta still needing to get into the pit. Jean Leroux needs to get into the pits. Tiernis Murta needing to get into the pits as well. That's the last of our drivers that still need to pit. First of everyone that has pitted is Daniel Rowe as he gets past Gideon Rayner, who just exits at the moment. So, Gideon Rayner falling behind Daniel Rowe will have to try and make his way through as he's got a little bit of a challenge ahead of him. Mahaith Musa will be closing. Oh, man, big tank slappers. That BMW all over the show, all over the road. Just brings it back. Mahaith Musa going and taking a deep breath right there. 4.1 seconds behind Gideon Rayner. But that nearly ended in tears as that BMW just slid around and those tires starting to drop off. Interesting enough though, Killian Rayner on that second pit stop, only a splash and dash, going for a little bit on the risk for a single set of tires. Don't know how that's going to work out though, as his competition ahead of him, Daniel Rowe on a new set of tires, behind Musa on a new set of tires, Christoph Peterson, Jean Leroux, Duplessis on still on an old set of tires. Rev for the Raced is on the new set of tires. I mean, there's just so many gambles going on, but yet this isn't a high degradation circuit. Once again, a freshly laid out track, doesn't really eat into the tires as much as one would think, but will be focusing on just trying to carry the momentum through. So maybe has he saved enough to try and make his way through. Kane Frizzell onto the back of the hitman Daniel de Villiers as they make their way through. 5 minutes and 38 seconds left of the pit window, and these two will have to decide very, very swiftly whether they're going to get into the pits or not. Are they going to carry the momentum through? Both drivers opting they're going to go that little bit longer. 5 minutes and 23 seconds. I would say it's about 4 more laps, if that, left. Remember, if you can't get that pit stop done and dusted, it's 180 seconds. And if you want to ask anyone on that one, that is going to be the likes of Daniel Rowe, who definitely overshot that one by a mile at Monza. Got that 180 seconds and dropped down like an absolute anchor in the race. So he's going to have to be very, very careful as they make their way through. So this is going to be a proper charge for them to go. Tiana Spuerta into the pit, so he's getting it done and dusted. Jean Leroux, is he going to be pulling into the box anytime soon? He's going to have to get in and out rather quickly. Kerry Fonsale making up a bit of time though. On De Villiers, down the back straight they go. Nose to tail as they got Sean Herrera in the Mustang just ahead of him. Nose to tail between them. Is this going to be enough though? Going to be a lot of momentum. De Villiers going and forcing Kerry Fonsale to go around to the outside. Daniel De Villiers actually did something really clever there, and something I do want to touch on. A lot of drivers moving left to right to try and snap that toe, or they tend to lean towards the inside to try and force their opponents on the outside. But on Paul Ricard, it is a track that you want to be on the outside. You don't want to go on the inside line coming off that back straight. You want to be on the outside to allow the sweep in, straighten the corner out for you, and carry the momentum through. That is going to be your best bet to hold your position, unless you have a driver that's very confident on the brakes and is able to really get that nose to twist in and get going. But that is only towards the earlier stage of the race. Daniel De Villiers, Kerry Fontel into the pits. Daniel Rowe now moves up into that 11th place and will be tailing down Sean Loureiro, 3.4 seconds ahead of him. So Daniel Rowe keeping the sharp end of the field. Killian Rayner in second of those who have done the pit stop. Mahath Musa running in third. Back out towards the sharp end of the field. Let's go through. Bernard Barkhuizen in first place. Henry Mayer, fastest lapping car of the race. He did a 53.5 as his quickest lap time, which has been quite a substantial time. Only one that was able to get close to him was Bego Krobler in third, doing a 1:53.575, and he is now running 7 seconds off the back of Henry Mayer. Right, Barry Smith in fourth, fifth place Brandon Kruger, Andres Rodeo in sixth, seventh place June Neville, followed by Fleming Bauer, Dean Nokia, and Sean Loureiro running into that top 10. Jean Leroux still needing to pit. He's lying in 15th position. He's going to drop way down the order, and unfortunately not going to be hammered at that one. But Daniel Rowe is making up a substantial amount of ground. So Bernard Barkhuizen getting a little bit unsteady on the way through. Ryan Barrington Smith into the pits, getting it done and dusted. He will allow a couple of cars to get past, like Brandon Kruger, who's actually diving into the pits. Will Sorodio follow suit? 2 minutes to go. Yes, Sorodio's into the pits. Jude Neville into the pits. Bauer, is he going to go for it? 1:55. Barkhuizen, Mayer, and Krobler still need to go and do everything he can. Bauer's into the pits. Dean Nokia, yep, he's diving into the pits. Loureiro will be coming into the pits as well. One would think. Yes, he is. So, Bernard Barkhazen, who is out on the back straight, Henry Mayer, and Bago Krobler making their way through. I do think that they will be able to make it into the pits just. But where they come out is going to be the problem. Daniel Rowe jumps himself up into 5th place, but got Ryan Barrington-Smith ahead of him. In that single shot, we saw Ryan Barrington-Smith ahead of Daniel Rowe. So Bago Krobler coming off the back straight. Henry Mayer lying in 2nd. Make his way through. And Bernard Barkhazen going that a little bit later. 1 minute to go. They will be able to get it into the pit for this run, as they properly sending it. 50 seconds to go. It's going to be very, very tight. They need to get that pit stop absolutely perfect at this point. Stop go 30-second penalty for Dino here. That is for coming off the pit limiter a little bit too early, and he will have to pit once again to stop hold for 30 seconds. Werner Scuba with a drive-through penalty. Oh man, it is all flooding in the final 10 minutes and 27 seconds. Barkhazen's into the pits. Henry Mayer's into the pits. Bago Krobler comes into the pits. And now Ryan Barrington-Smith, where is he out on track to everyone? So let's take a look at our track map quickly. The triangle is our leader, Bernard Barkhazen, and you can see how far back the likes of Ryan Barrington-Smith is to the back of him. So he's going to have to try and really dig deep here to close up that little bit of distance. Barkhazen, how late is going to be in the pits? As we just hear from Jim, pit lane is now closed. Bernard Barkhazen and Henry Mayer coming out of the pits. Barkhazen will get ahead, and Bago Krobler now coming out of the pits. Our top 3 all very, very close to one another. Ryan Barrington-Smith also closes down that gap to Bago Krobler. Can he get it done? 4 seconds. 3 seconds right into that closing stages. Now this is going to be interesting. It is a sprint race, 9 minutes 26 seconds for 50 points towards the championship, and a prize to the winner sponsored by PokerBet for every win they have in the race. So if you win tonight, you get not only your points that go towards that 150,000 Rand championship prize, but PokerBet stepped up the stakes and said, if you win tonight, you will also get a prize as well. Brandon Kruger, though, drive-through penalty in 7th place. We were just watching him. Brandon Kruger, track limits exceeded, drive-through penalty, and that will take him off the back of Gideon Rayner. He's been working so hard to try and keep it in check. That means Mahayath Musa with Christoph Peterson right on the back of him will be only fighting each other. They will gain a position without even trying. So this is going to be big stuff between them, and it does look like side by side action. Christopher Peterson getting the drive to Mahayath Musa, gets a pass once it's done. Oh, Mahayath Musa was a bit slow though. I'm going to go back. I think he returned the favor of earlier, where Christopher Peterson bumped it into 5th to allow Mahayath Musa by. Max Revs holds it on the rev limits for quite some time. Lift goes up to ABS, another lift, little changes going on, and that was actually an indication to Christoph Peterson going and saying, get on by, let's pull through. So returning the favor from earlier. Well, don't often get to talk about that, but a little bit of a gentleman's agreement, a little bit of a tip of the hat to one another. Christoph Peterson, Mahayath Musa doing that a little bit early on has come into play, and now they're focusing on drawing in Brandon Kruger a little bit closer. Now, what Brandon Kruger can do is you got a drive-through penalty. This is going to hurt. So what can you do? You got your teammate ahead of you. You got a Gideon Rayner ahead of you, and you're thinking, I've lost out that ground. I've got that drive-through penalty. Let's try and give a hand here. Let's back off the throttle. Let's just let you go a little bit more, and let me deal with Christoph Peterson and Mahayath Musa for just that little bit. Let's take the edge off them. I'm going to lose out those positions. Let's see what I can do to benefit you in the run. Quick flash of the lights for Gideon Raiders. Tries to get past the likes of Kevin Jacobs. Try to draw him in. Get closer, closer, closer. Is he going to go for the inside line? No. Kevin Jacobs keeping it firmly planted to defend and keep going. So he's keeping that racing line as per the rules. Not going to fight in terms of the pass. He's going to let Gideon Raider by. Gideon Raider gets a very, very huge amount of understeer all the way through. Losing out that little drive. Brandon Kruger trying to get past. Kevin Jacobs does also get a little bit of a offline. Tries to bring it back. Gets it all done. So Kevin Jacobs giving a little bit of room there, saying, all right, let's get going. But let's talk about first place for a little while. Bernard Barkhuizen and Henry Mayer in the last 5 minutes and 44 seconds of this race are going nose to tail. Henry Mayer, who's been dominating every race so far for the championship, the RACEFACE.PRO PokerBet GT3 Championship, who is our championship leader, might I add, is now in second place. Only 2.4 seconds right behind Bernard Barkhuizen, who's not backing down from the fight. He's going to carry the momentum. Bernard Barkhuizen is looking to get it a double win. He did it last night. He knows he can do it again. He knows that Henry Mayer will be pushing him. Brago Krobler trying to close up that gap as well, as he's got Ryan Barrington-Smith 2.8 seconds behind him. Our top four very, very close to one another. There's lots of swings in this game right now. There's lots of opportunity, and Lady Luck is tapping her fingers on that table. She's letting everyone know what you need to do. So you best go and start working out where you're going to be. You're going to be looking at those cards and taking a look at the dealer. Going and saying, right, give me that hand that I need to go and score the points. What do I need to pull that ace out of the deck? Make sure that I get it. For those that used to watch a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh, you got to put your heart in the cards at this point to ensure that you pull out the best of the best. You want to really go for that top tier card and say, right, I'm getting this done. And yes, that is a bit of a outside reference towards old cartoons of the past, and probably I'm displaying a little bit of my age there, but honestly, that's what you're sitting with at the moment, because it is everything on the cards here. It's everything on the table. All chips are out there, and you're going to have to go, I'm all in for the final 3 minutes and 50 seconds of this race, because the house is open, and now you're going to have to say, right, I've got to get those final things in. I've got to get ready to cash in, and I've got to try and take every opportunity. Brandon Kruger into the pits, so he's serving his drive-through penalty. Vietio Buerta with a drive-through penalty. He's going to have to serve that. But we are watching Jude Neville and Andre Serradio all over the back of one another. Serradio trying to go that little bit later at the moment. Jude Neville trying to close up that gap. Is going to really work hard, trying to massage it at this point. Say, right, what do I need to go and break you off that racing line? Get you to lift off that apex and try and bring your way through. It's going to be close between them, as we immediately see Serradio trying to put the pressure onto Hayat Musa. Looks onto the back of him, saying, all right, what am I going to need to do? Pushes onto the inside, forces Serradio to go a little bit later under braking and lose out that little bit of momentum. So Serradio having to really work his way through here, but Duplessis also 1.3 seconds back from this little fight, so don't count him out of the fight just as yet, as they are also closing down on one another. Jude trying to make his way through as we jump on board. Closer, closer, closer. Got the outside line. Can he carry the momentum through? Serradio going to hold the inside line. He's going to send it deep into the corner, forcing Jude Neville out very wide. That was over the track limits. Did that count? Does he have enough in the bag? He does, so he will avoid a drive-through penalty, but Jude Neville really going and counting on that fate is on his side at this point. Serradio very, very smartly put himself on the inside line and forced Jude Neville to break that little bit later, knowing that the tires just don't have as much life in them. He can't go for those late ones. Harry Fonsale getting a drive-through penalty in the last minute and 50 seconds of this race. This is going to be a close one, though. As you see, Serodio flashing the light to Kevin Jacobs saying, listen, got to get out the way here. I'm holding 9th and 10th place is all over the back of me. I want to keep in this 9th place spot. Duplessis, who wants to be in that top 10 oh so desperately, is watching this fight and saying, come on, guys, make a mistake. Make that wrong draw. And Kevin Jacobs moving out of the way, saying, listen, I don't want to get involved in this fight. You guys duke it out. And immediately pulls himself back into it. So this is going to be a very close one for Serodio and Jude Neville, who has been pulling some, well, awesome moves, all I can say, throughout the race. Serodio beat that consistent pace, but now he has to get on that very, very defensive move. His teammate Mahith Musa onto the back on Christoph Peterson, but with 55 minutes to go, all eyes back towards the front as 1 second and 8. 1 minute or 1 second, 1.8 seconds between first and second. Henry Mayer and Bernard Barkhuizen now clawing down that gap. This is getting close. Henry Mayer really needs to dial it in. 37 seconds to go. They will have one more lap to go. It will be a last lap dash at this point for both drivers. So Henry Mayer really needs to dial it in. Bernard Barkhuizen's got to get this act all in. He has got all the cards on the table, and we go head-to-head for the final lap. That is it. Jim has called it final lap for our top 2, and Bernard Barkhuizen leading out the charge. Henry Mayer has got one more lap to just try and take away that win. Jumping over the curbs, can't pull it back. He's trying everything. The Martian Racing trying to bring it back. Bernard Barkhuizen really doing everything he can, clawing at it, just begging for mercy at this point, saying, come on, what do I need? That extra little bit. How much have they got left in the tank? This is where it's going to be at. Bernard said he's going to be going and slugging down the switch spring box to ensure he has the jump on the field, and now he is needing to do it. He's down the back straight. Henry Mayer coming back at him, and it's still so close. 1.8 seconds between them, and it's all a monumental charge on the way through. Going to be very, very close. This is off the back of Bernard's car, and you can see Henry Mayer looming in and trying to close up that gap. And off the front splitter of Henry Mayer, turning in, gets the apex, feathering the throttle on the way through, runs up very wide, snaps it back, trying to close up that gap, and really managing to do so. So Henry Mayer becoming more and more a viable threat for the last little sector. How much is on the cards for Bernard Barkhuizen? Henry Mayer, who's been a dominating force, is this going to work out for him? Bagel Crumbler in third with Ryan Berrington Smith onto the back of him. They're having a good go. Jude Neville and Andre Serodio side by side through the right-hander. And it does look like Jude Neville getting ahead of Serodio. But coming up to the line, Bernard Barkhuizen gets the win across the line. Henry Mayer in second place. Bagel Crumbler in third. Ryan Berrington Smith in fourth place. Daniel Rowe coming around and taking fifth place ahead of Gideon Rayner. Christoph Peterson, Mahith Musa, Jude Neville getting ahead of Andre Serodio, who's fighting it out. Duplessis coming back at him. Gonna go around the outside. Final corner. Serodio jumping the curb to try and keep ahead of Duplessis and gets across the line. The little Audi just didn't have the legs at the end there. Serodio keeping it alive into that top 10. Duplessis into 11th. Then we got Fleming Power into 12th position. Rio Front Race in 13th. 14th, Brandon Kruger. Sean Lavero. Mac Federberger tries to go for an inside pass. Couldn't quite get it done. Going to try and carry the momentum through, but the Mustang just having too much of the legs across the line. Daniel the Hitman DeVilliers, great show for him. 17th position. Jean Leroux right behind him. Jason Farmer. Werner Skuman, Mordre Claessens 1.3 seconds back, right onto the back of him. As the two Pandassi machines will be coming across the line, Mordre Claessens behind Werner Skuman, the team captain. Kerry Funzale will join up with the Pandassi cars. Vietia Burta, after a great race, comes up in 23rd. 24th, Road Claytons, Ron Heinecker going and getting across the line, along with Farid, Tianas Burta, Dean Nokia, Kevin Jacobs, Isam Domingo, Keegan Sanderson rounding out our field. 31 cars cross the line here tonight for our Pro Division. And what an amazing time it was for all of them out there. Some great, great stuff. Let's go to a break and we'll be right back. Oh boy, what a wild ride. That was exciting here at Paul Ricard for round 4. And what a time to be alive for the RACEFACE.PRO PokerBet GT3 Championship. All some tremendous racing and drivers pushing themselves beyond. And, well, I mean, it was just a phenomenal stuff. But that does bring us to the end of round 4. But we're going to have a chat to a couple of drivers during the course of this as we're allowing them to climb out of their cars and join us for a couple of interviews that will be going out. So it looks like we won't have Bago Krobler, who was our 3rd place finisher. But we will have our 2nd place, Henry Mayer. Henry Mayer, welcome to the commentary box. What a run out there. What an exciting run. Off to a brilliant start. Out the box. Really clawing up through it all. But it looks like you just couldn't quite get it at the end. But you gave it everything. I mean, take us through that race.
That was exciting. Chasing Barkhuizen down. That was fun. He did a great job managing the whole race in one set of tires, so that was great, but still good clean racing.
Well, you say a set of tires. He actually did take tires by the looks of it on the timing, so but it was a little bit earlier on. I mean, Henry, you said last night this is a track that you're not entirely comfortable with, but you properly gave it your all. Take us through how the car came alive at the start of the race, because it looked like you were absolutely untouchable at the start.
Yeah, the car felt great. The plan was to, with the pole position, just to get out of the slip, and that worked. And then it was just maintaining the gap and hoping for the best.
And those track limits, we saw lots of drivers towards the end, drive-through penalties being dished out properly. You know, how close were you to actually getting a drive-through penalty?
I had 2 warnings there, but I know on this track, following closely, that's where the warnings actually come. If you've got clean track, it's not that difficult to keep it clean. So yeah, but I think a lot of people were on mostly 3.
Well, I've got to say, well done. You scored a good amount of points for your championship. 2nd place still keeps you alive through it all, and you know, still keeping that good gap towards the end. I mean, take us through what's your thoughts there of that little bit closer towards the 150,000 Rand prize pool at the end, brought to you by PokerBet. You're now done with round 4. The halfway mark is behind you, and now it's round 5 next week. It is the closing stages of this, and your championship, you're at the top of the helm at the moment, but it does look like a slight bit of diminishing points. Is there a bit of nerves kicking in?
No, not yet. It's like I said last night, this isn't my best track, so I'll take what I can get. I was here to get points, and that's what I got. So I'm really happy with a P3 and a P2. That's more than I could have asked for.
Absolutely tremendous stuff. Well, Henry Mayer of Martian Racing. Henry, the floor is yours. You're holding the crown for the championship at the moment. You've still got the ace in the cards, that full house at the point. But it's time for you to address the people of the seats here at the PokerBet VIP grandstands, all our virtual grandstands out there, and all our amazing sponsors are keeping a very close eye on you at the moment.
Yeah, just a massive thanks to PokerBet, all the sponsors, all the people watching, and then fantastic race by Barkhuizen and good job by Bago. And everyone's pushing, we can see that, so maybe it brings more eyes to the show.
That's it. Incredible stuff. Well done, Henry Mayer. Second place on your run here for round 4. Well, Henry Mayer going and giving a good one, but we do have third place, Bago Krobler, who just climbed out of the Aston Martin. Bago Krobler, welcome to the commentary box. Third place, but let's talk about the start for you, because that got a little bit hair-raising when you suddenly were getting swallowed up by the entire field heading into turn 1.
Yeah, Aston things, eh? It's one of those things you have to make peace with when you drive the Aston. It's not great off the start, so yeah, you do what you can to at least try and hold position, and luckily worked out tonight, so grateful for that.
So we've always seen you play the late game with your pit stops, and it seems to play into your favor every single time. How was the tires feeling? Because you were really pushing the limits there of what the car can do. We could see that understeer slowly creeping in as you're trying to pull the car back.
Yeah, I think compared to the rest of the grid, not too bad. I think like the drop off in lap time wasn't too bad compared to everybody else, except for Berries. I don't know what he does with his Aston, but he's like he's a bit of a tire whisperer. So I knew at the beginning of the stint I needed to push and try and get the gap to him to about 4 seconds roughly, because at the end of the stint he'll come back at me. But yeah, luckily just enough to hang on for third in the end.
Well, it was a great thing to see out there. Some consistent racing. Your lap times were great. Your actual performance of index, doing a quick math here, was very, very close and actually very neat. Are you setting a delta for yourself, saying, I need to hit a 1 minute 54.5 consistently every lap? Or is it just pushing yourself to that limit every lap, knowing that the fastest you're going to go is going to be the closest? Or are you trying to tame yourself a little bit?
Yeah, I don't think there's a target lap time really. I think there's a more of a sort of a target style, if I can call it that. So you want to be as fast as you can, but you want to be consistent in how you drive the car, consistent with your braking and corner entries and exits. You don't want to be sliding the car too much, because that'll really hurt the tires. So for me, I try and focus less on outright lap time and just try and focus more on my inputs being smooth and just trying to keep the car as balanced throughout the lap as I can.
Well, absolutely incredible stuff. Getting a third place in tonight's race means that you've scored big for the RACEFACE.PRO PokerBet GT3 Championship. Round 4 done and dusted. Round 5 on the horizon. But it's over to you. From hybrid racing, you are free to address all the petrol heads in the virtual grandstands, in the VIP box for the PokerBet grandstands, and all our sponsors being part of it. And remember that prize pool of 150,000 Rand now starting to look a little bit more on the horizon for the hybrid racing Bago Krobler.
Yeah, just a big shout out to everybody that races. All the guys, Pro Am, all the guys, this championship is amazing, and I think through all 3 divisions the competitiveness is just insane. I mean, if you look at the quali lap times, losing a 10th on a lap can cost you 3, 4, 5, 6 places easily, so it's super competitive, and the guys are really bringing the A games, and it's amazing to see, and it's so much fun to be a part of. And then obviously to the sponsors, it's a huge thank you for helping us grow the sport and taking the next step. And yeah, hope to have you guys with us for a while, and hope to give you guys a good show.
That's it. And also a shout out to the sponsors for hybrid racing. Guys doing a fantastic job there.
Yep, absolutely. So Andres EG Evolve not with us in a official capacity anymore, but he's done so much for us that we keep endorsing him, and you know, when he can, he does still help us out. So big shout out to Andres, and then just also a big shout out to all the guys in the team. Wonderful team environment to be a part of at the moment, and yeah, we'll just be going from strength to strength, hopefully.
Absolutely awesome stuff. Bego Crawler, well done. 3rd place, and absolutely phenomenal job.
Thank you.
That being said, I had to, guys, go and bring up the team captain of Ominous Gaming, and also someone who's going to have the biggest smile on his face, because he's going to have to say well done here, because Tristan Herbs, you were commentating on Pro-Am, but I am going to say this, the streak has been broken for a certain driver in your team.
The driver of Henry Mayer.
Oh, no. Henry Mayer got defeated last night, but I'm talking about a streak that we thought was once off for a certain OG driver that even you had your head in your hands for a long time, and we weren't going to bring him up, who's going to be through the roof at this point. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up, who's finally broken that streak. Bernard Barkhuizen, 1st place again, and has broken the bad luck streak.
Jeez, thanks, Stephen. I didn't think I was going to do it there at the end, but luckily Henry Mayer made some mistakes at the end. I managed to pull it off. Even me, after being sick, actually, I'm sick behind the wheel, and I'm very chuffed of making it in P1.
I had to bring up your team captain for this one, because we were having a conversation beforehand, and the first thing Tristan said to me was, oh, it's just got to happen again. It's just got to happen again. It has to. Bernard, take us through that race, because you were off to a great start, but then towards the end, 1.8 seconds was the separation between 1st and 2nd. You were on the edge right there.
Yeah, no, for sure. The tires were absolute ice, especially in that very, very fast right-hander. It's all about, not being on the brakes too much and just throwing it in and getting on the accelerator as soon as possible. The tires actually lasted. I don't want to give away my strats on what I'm doing, but it's just about keeping your tires cool to expect him to go all the way. So that's what I did.
Our back markers also played a hand in it. But Tristan, not often we get to chat to a team captain for it, and now getting to see a driver that you were hoping to take the top spot. Anything you want to say to Bernard Barkhuizen, who's not only managed to get a checkered flag last night and get 1st place, but he managed to score it again tonight, which means he wins big with PokerBet, maximizes his points for the championship, but also winning a prize for winning tonight. Tristan, as a team leader, anything you want to say to, well, the OG KSR driver of Bernard Barkhuizen, who I'm sure has got the biggest smile, and we can hear the teeth in his speech?
Well, I think the only thing I can mention is that obviously bringing Bernard onto the Omnius Gaming squad has been one of those aged like fine wine investments. We had a bit of a rough start with the external issues, but now it's finally paid off. Like we've mentioned, we've broken that streak of unluckiness, and he's back on top where he deserves to be. Major congratulations to you, dude. You've put in the effort, you've put in the speed, and you've done it once again, so well done.
Yeah, thanks. It's all about just, I don't know, I'll just do it for the team. I'm so glad being part of the team. Brandon, Gideon, Mac van der Merwe. If it weren't for those guys, I wouldn't be driving for this team, and you especially as well, Tristan. Thanks for taking me on, and, I'll always try my best and, see what happens.
Well, Bernard Barkhuizen, KSR OG, back on top. When I was commentating, when I first started here in RACEFACE, was one of those big names that we used to talk about amongst quite a few other teams. But you hold the crown at Paul Ricard. You've taken the win yet again. Henry Mayer into 2nd place, which means you managed to break that streak of his. as well, going and scoring some points for the championship. 150,000 Rand on the cards for you. But soaking in the moment, you are free to address PokerBet, our title sponsor. You're free to address all the sponsors, part of the RACEFACE.PRO, and most importantly, you are free to address all the VIPs, all the petrol heads in the virtual grandstands that cheered you on right to the end of the line.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. You know, I always say it. It's always first on my mind. It's thanks to Bertasugu, you know, thanks to Ansi, thanks to you, Stephen, Tristan, guys commentating in the commentary box. And, you know, also need to give a shout out again to Mac Flamera for the fuel strategy at the end, because, yeah, I ended with 0.5 liters in a tank. And I think if it wasn't that close, you know, anything could have happened. And, you know, finally, I'd just like to dedicate this win to my girlfriend, Stephanie. She's been tremendous in supporting me all the way. And, yeah, this is definitely not the last. So, thanks, guys.
Well, there we go. Stephanie, a shout out from Bernard Barkhuizen. A shout out straight to you from RACEFACE.PRO and PokerBet. Thank you for supporting the driver in all the hard efforts to it. It's always nice to hear the family. And, well, I think you owe Stephanie a good cup of coffee after that one. Bernard Barkhuizen, enjoy the champagne. You have taken the cards. You have walked away with the chips for this race, and free to enjoy the celebrations. Go dive in the pool. Enjoy the French countryside before we head over to our next racing next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Oh boy, wow, that was exciting times, Tristan. Here in the Pro, it had us on the edge of our seats and had us going. And the Pro-Am, how was it for you?
Man, it was completely different to what we saw last night. We had so many unexpected names and so many unexpected underpinning strategies to try and bring people up. We had names like Jason Landsberg finishing in second, Faiz Tar fighting Johan Blicknote for first place, and then unfortunately receiving the stop and go 30-second penalty and falling off. So it was an absolutely phenomenal race to watch, absolutely phenomenal race to commentate. And I'm sure the excitement was mutual among the Pro Division.
Oh, it was amazing. It really was. But this is what we come to expect here at the RACEFACE.PRO PokerBet GT3 Championship on a Thursday night. I can't think of any way to spend a better time in getting to see it all. But that being said, we have to call it quits. We have to say goodnight. We have to say goodbye to the French countryside here at Paul Ricard. And I've got to say, I'm really looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season pans out in our Pro-Am, and Am Championship with that prize pool of 150,000 Rand on the cards for the Thursday nights, 100,000 Rand for our RACEFACE.PRO PokerBet GT3 Sprint Championship on a Wednesday night. I mean, there's so much going on here that I really recommend everyone to go take a look. But you can also win big with PokerBet. Down in the description of the link of our Pro-Am and Pro live stream, you can be a part of it and win big with PokerBet. Remember, they do have that monster event happening where you can win your share of 3 million Rand just by guessing who is going to get to the end between South Africa and the British. So it's good to see that happening. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, from myself, Stephen Koenig, and Tristan Hibbs, we'd like to wish you all a great evening. Have a good one. And like always, a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody. An exciting round, ladies and gentlemen, and that brings an end to Paul Ricard round 4. But keep an eye out as next week we head out to round 5 at the Hongara Ring, as the championship is only heating up and getting better and better. After that, we have got Messino for round 6. Round 7, we head out to Kalami. Then we move on to the Nürburgring for the championship. I can't wait. It's absolutely incredible. But shout out to our official sponsors here at RACEFACE.PRO for our sprint and for our GT3 championship. And without them, it would not be possible. So going through the order of who's involved, Let's take a look. First up is our title sponsor, PokerBet. Without them, we're not going to be winning big. Moving on to Red Star Raceway, bringing in the speed and ensuring we keep on track. Thirdly, Ardnadorf Machinery Mart, ensuring that we have all the hardware power bringing to your doors. SA Lube to ensure that we are slick on our travels on the circuit. Moving on, Scallywags Drift Academy for all the sideways moments that you see out on track. Tenvo Tech being a major sponsor, bringing all the fancy overlays for you streamers out there in the world of RACEFACE.PRO. And a big shout out also goes to Productions is THT Productions, bringing you all live action right here from the track. We'll see you next time.